Good evening. Welcome to the October 9th, 2019 meeting of the East Long Meadow Conservation Commission. Pursuant to Mass General Law, we need to ask if anybody in the audience is recording this meeting. No one's in the audience, so no one else is. We can move on. Call the roll. Commissioners Bosworth, O'Brien, Zampacini, and Jernstrom are here. First item on the agenda is appointment of the vice chairman to the commission. Essentially, the role of the vice chair is to fill in and run the meetings if the chair happens to be absent.
That would be you, Tom.
I think that Jeff would be an excellent candidate for that.
I spoke with Jeff about it, and he would prefer to remain as clerk right now, especially considering that the clerk now has expanded duties because the fact that we are not going to have support staff in attendance at our meetings, and this is our second meeting with no support staff present.
Tony,
Tom?
would you like it?
No. I think you should have it, Tom, really.
I'll take it by default,
Okay.
or after, if it's been voted on.
I'll entertain a motion to nominate Tom O'Brien as vice chair of the commission.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think you even voted for yourself.
Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of September 28th, 2018. I did not receive them until an email at about 10 o'clock this morning, which I didn't see till I got home. They are included in our packets. I would like to review these a little bit because quite a few things did happen at the September 19th meeting, so I'll entertain a motion to postpone the approval of the September 18th minutes to our October 23rd meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ditto for, well, the September 25th meeting was actually pretty short, and I did see that one before it came out. Do people want to take action on that, or would you like to review those?
I reviewed them and I'm good.
I'm all set.
I'll entertain a motion for approval of the September 25th, 2019 minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is a request for a certificate of compliance for 30 Heritage Circle. If you look at this, this has actually been on our agenda since June 12th. The people have not submitted their engineered a letter or anything from an engineer stating it is in compliance. That's why it has not been removed from the agenda. At this point, I think we need to just inform them that we're removing it from the agenda. We encourage you to complete your certificate of compliance. It is required to transfer your property. So I think we should maybe just draft them a letter stating such and urging them to complete their certificate of compliance. And until then, we should just remove it off the agenda.
I agree. I don't know how it lasted this long.
Me either.
You could put on the agenda.
All right, I don't believe that's anything we actually need. Well, I'll entertain a motion to remove 30 Heritage Circle, request for certificate of compliance off the agenda, and have a letter sent to them.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hidden Ponds amendments to the order of conditions. I didn't get to them. I got them sent to me. I thought I had the copies, but I left them back. And I got them from Bethany last week, and I didn't get to those. I don't really have any issues with the requested changes by Mr. Joyce. So I guess I would just like to continue that, and prior to our next meeting, I will modify those as requested and have it sent to all the commissioners for approval. Next item on the agenda was 101. Al, hi.
And that's fine. I didn't even know if I was supposed to be here or not.
Didn't have to.
I didn't think so, but it's so much fun. You know, I do miss Connie.
Excuse me?
You don't want to hang around?
Should we?
You don't wanna hang around?
Oh,
You're not going anywhere,
Is
right?
there a way that when you email back and forth, could I get could I be involved with that?
Absolutely.
That way I don't need to come, or if there's any,
Yep.
because it was kind of confusing on some of them, that maybe it.
Sure, but since you're here, was also on there for project monitoring.
Okay,
Kind of, this is a letter we drafted for Alice Woodward.
oh, all right.
Right here, for your signature. Ask her if he's cooked already.
We were gonna check, we were just going to approve it tonight, see what the DPW and the planning board thought of it.
That's great. Thank you, I appreciate you.
Okay.
And,
I know this one came out kind of late too. I didn't do it
Thank
till
you.
today. But I actually think we should copy the DPW and the planning board on it. It's essentially stating what we talked about at the meeting, that it was kind of an isolated incident, and it was started by 3 factors. 1, the culvert was cleared, 2, the road was cut open, and 3, it rained for a day. And nothing has really occurred since then. Thank Mrs. Woodward for bringing it to our attention.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Um,
That's the letter for your signature. That's what we sent to her.
Yeah. I guess the only, I'll sign it, but just, items like this, I really don't have an issue with Bethany or whatever signing them for me. But I do believe it would be prudent for us to send it to the DPW and to the planning board, correct?
I think so. Definitely to the DPW.
Yeah. And Mrs. Woodward did go in front of the planning board.
Then we should info them too.
Yeah, and she was sent, to us and the DPW from there.
Okay.
Next one was 101 Old Farm Road. We were supposed to send a letter or something out about the erosion controls. And I believe that was another one that was in one of my emails, that who was doing it
Well,
after the last meeting.
I would say that the response letter, or the site visit response that I generated was sent to Ryan at Levesque Associates. And Tony and I were out there just prior to the meeting. Erosion controls, the water was put across the end of the driveway, and the area behind it has all been sodded, so there is no erosion. And we just recommended that he do a wattle on the dirt area that goes along the left side of the driveway to prevent that eroding out, which he said he would do.
Okay.
Everything looks good.
The tree plantings, which we received today via email, the revised drawing with the plantings. Philippe, I think Parvo was his name, was the Levesque associate out there at the site visit, and he said it's too late in the year for any plantings to take now, so they're gonna hold off till the spring and do the tree plantings.
Wow, I kind of thought, Tom, you're the expert. Isn't
Nah,
now a good
tree-
time to plant?
Nah, I genuinely wanna plant maybe a lawn this time of year, but
Trees, it's a little too late?
You wanna put them in the spring.
Okay.
So they're gonna do the tree plantings in the spring.
That's in our file? Or that, you said that came in today, the planting plan?
It was emailed, a revision. I have a copy of it right here, showing the types and the plantings of the trees. Yeah. And this is the original site plan without the trees. They have a larger copy in the office.
Those are the plantings, those,
Essentially, what I'm seeing here is 10. I'm not sure that's a sufficient amount for what was cut down there.
I don't think there were more than about 10 trees cut out.
he didn't even plant where plan where, he did all the clearing, it was all to the left.
Yeah,
The area,
The planting should have
Yeah.
occurred to the left,
The trees were cut starting,
all the way around, but where
they
the
they-
violations was on the left, no?
Well, no, they cut all along,
how many trees they cut down, 5?
no, I would say close to 10.
Really?
Yeah, but the ones,
Wow.
across the back, where they'd be on the limit of work boundary, I thought it was all on the left where the
No,
trees
no, they
would
were,
be on the limit of
they
work.
were all right along the
I
bank
know
of the
there
river.
were 3 up in this area, and it just came down.
I think his planting formula lends itself to his aesthetics, not to necessarily what he did, I don't know.
and I guess what concerns me with, okay, the 10 trees were cut down, but how many were cut down that were 2 inches in diameter and 10 feet high? Are we counting that as a tree or no?
Well, it
You mean
was,
saplings?
Yes.
Yeah, they qualify.
well, it's hard to tell because,
Everything's overgrown now.
That-
It's
well,
like
well,
back to normal.
yeah, but
Except for the trees.
before that, that bobcat had been in there, so you had no idea what was
Right.
there.
What was gone?
Because all that was already gone.
Yeah.
All we could see in what the neighbor reported were the trees
Yeah.
along the riverbank that they were cutting down.
What's the species he
Well-
planted? Does it say? The print's pretty
Says
small.
species to be determined
To be determined?
by the commission and owner.
You know, I guess if I'm looking at this photograph
Those look
here,
like squirrel maples, aren't they?
I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Well,
13.
where'd he clear to?
No, this is,
That's
this is,
afterwards.
That's where the fence was, yeah.
no, but that, the
That's the
fence
limit
was
of
already
work.
gone. This is over behind the pool.
But that's still remaining, that's residual, right?
Yeah,
So you need to look for the pictures with the stumps in them, the visible stumps.
this is right behind the pool. He cut going up
Yeah,
around
to the
this way,
left.
up around to the left, up to around over here.
Yeah, where you put the plantings,
But he's got, because they cut all these trees along here. But whatever was in this area was already totally obliterated before we even got out there, so I have no idea what was there.
it stands to reason the growth follows a similar pattern. So you could basically do a plot, measure the area that's cleared, you know, take a look at what's existing, because the growth pattern is consistent
Oh,
throughout
yeah,
there.
yeah.
And you could probably come up with a pretty close determination of,
If I'm reading right here from the Enforcement Order Restoration Plan dated May 22nd, 2019, submitted by R. Levesque Associates, approximately 17 freshly cut tree stumps greater than 6 inches in diameter at the base were observed within the 50-foot buffer zone.
well, there you go.
And we're
That's
planting
just
10.
what they observed.
Well, some of those stumps were trees that were cut a long time ago because they were really black and dark. You could tell that they had been cut way, those were something with those, I don't know whether they came down during storms or what, but they were done way before these cuttings.
And it says the work conducted has also essentially removed saplings.
I don't necessarily have a problem with the 10 trees, as long as they're planted in the area that he cleared, and they're species that are just gonna lock the soil
Yeah, well,
from any erosion.
it says species to be determined by the Conservation Commission and owner.
So,
So we can have an input next spring as to what we want in there.
I don't necessarily agree with the location or the amount. I suppose 10 will be all right, but.
Well,
we need to
we can
adjust
require
them to-
more if we want.
I mean, I'm looking at this picture here and I'm seeing, because this is where the pool is, and essentially these are gone, right here, right?
Yep.
And I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here.
Well, some of these were older. Basically, most of the cutting was done
Yeah,
over,
to the
Yeah,
left.
but so you're saying
Over.
these are all still there?
yeah,
Those are still there?
yeah. All those trees are still there. Where,
I bet you it's 30 at the minimum.
See, and this is a good picture that we can tell by. You know, because these are pretty much gone too, right? Because I know this is the one that was over here, towards this area is where a couple of these ones, like maybe that one and that one, were taken out right by the bank of the intermittent stream.
yeah, all the ones along the intermittent stream were taken out. That's pretty much where these plantings are.
I mean, and then I'm seeing 15 in this picture. I guess right now I'd like to schedule a site visit. There was also a memorandum, because we really aren't taking action on this, and I'm not sure about this because I've never encountered one of these from staff before. But there was a memo sent out by Bethany today that said, for clarification, an order of conditions, oh no, this is the other one, this Shaker Road, sorry. Don't have anything on this one.
Which is it?
That was Shaker Road, I was mistaken, it was the other Levesque project. I guess then I'd like to go do a site visit there and just confirm this. How many we think we're taking out, because these pictures in here are very good, will give us a good idea, but in my humble opinion, I don't think it's anywhere near enough.
Okay. Well, we still have all winter.
Yeah, right,
Till next-
he's
next
not doing
spring.
any plantings anyway,
No,
but, but obviously it would be good to go before the snow flies. Do people want to do it this weekend or next week, or? I'm not available Friday after work. Other than that, I'm pretty open. I mean, and I don't think this is gonna take us long. I think we're in and out there in 15, 20 minutes.
Wanna wait until it dries out?
That's true too. Why don't we touch base
Yeah.
beginning of next week and we'll
It's
set
dry.
something up. Yeah, it's probably gonna be raining the next couple of days.
it's supposed to rain all the rest of the week.
Yeah. Okay, Oak Grove Road I had on here. Did people see the email from the building inspector? I believe I asked that to be sent to everybody.
Yep.
Because in my checking, I know we voted to issue an enforcement order. I don't believe we should be, because I haven't seen it show up where it's technically a
Is that the one
wetland.
behind Lori's house?
Yeah,
Yeah, he definitively said it wasn't a wetland, or did you say it wasn't?
I do not believe it is, yeah,
was-
from looking
was
at the
within
maps. Yeah.
The stream,
Mhm.
or in a wetland area?
Yeah.
And it was all in his property. That's what it was, the building inspector said it was all in his property.
Correct.
Right, right. And he said it,
And
and
you
according to
said-
GIS, it was not within the 100-foot buffer zone.
Or the 200-foot
Or the-
even, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think that, and he thinks that it's within their property, there's really no issue for us.
Yeah,
Right?
yep. Other than he was just gonna keep us advised, but yeah, he had some issues with the deck
Right,
and that wall being done
Yeah, the
without a
wall's more
permit.
of a building inspector's thing though, right?
And the deck out there.
Yeah.
There was unpermitted work done on the deck also. Okay. One of the other items, since it's not on the agenda, I asked for it to be put on, was the orders of condition for 244 Shaker Road that I just went to read. And essentially what it said was that based on the fact that a final plan has not been submitted, an order of conditions can't be done. What did I do with it? Yeah, there it is. Excuse me. For clarification, an order of conditions for notice of intent for 244 Shaker Road cannot be completed until the applicant submits final plans that are stamped by an engineer. As of today, 10/9, the applicant has only submitted draft plans. By attaching the final plans to the DEP filing order of conditions, it assures that the plans the commission approved for this notice of intent remain the same plans that are eventually recorded in the registry of deeds. I guess we'll take that for what it is, and I will send Rob an email and check with him on that. Anybody else have anything under project monitoring?
Oh, we have, in the packets, you should have the update from Freshwater for
Oh, yes.
53 Tanglewood.
Tanglewood.
Yep.
And the proposed plantings for that.
I was by there a couple weeks ago. Quite a few of them are done. I'm not sure if it's complete.
There's a packet with pictures and I believe a plan was also submitted.
Yes, it was. Obviously, this one, it does have in the conditions that we can't issue a certificate of compliance. I believe it's for,
I think it was 2 years. wasn't it?
2 years, to make sure that the plantings are surviving. Lawn's coming in.
There were some plantings done,
Yes, yeah.
marked by these pink stakes with the pink.
Mhm.
Looks like 3.
There's more than that. There's.
No, I mean, because all the other ones they did were already in the existing. Well,
You know, and essentially, I think, it's looking pretty good, and I would say,
Far cry better than what it did look.
yeah, in the near future, once things settle a little bit more, I wouldn't have a problem with having the erosion controls removed. Anything else on Tanglewood?
No, nothing I can think of.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is review and comments for planning board from the Conservation Commission. At this point, I'm not aware of any that we need to submit to them. The next one would be policies and procedures for the commission. One of the things that's in our packets. Was not aware that it was coming out, but what we had is a schedule for 2018, or excuse me, our meetings for 2020. And at our last meeting, we were informed by the director that they start working on this in October to get ready for the following year. Right now, I don't see any issues with this. One of the things that I wanted to bring up, though, for the record, because we had all this confusion, and it was the wishes of the director to cancel the meeting tonight, and that's how the rescheduling started because of Yom Kippur. And I was questioning that because it wasn't a real holiday and not observed by by other towns. But so for the record, tonight Wilbraham has a Community Preservation Committee meeting, has a Broadband Committee meeting, Palmer has a Finance Committee meeting, Hamden has a Planning Board meeting, Munson has a Board of Health meeting, they also have a Water and Sewer Commission meeting, Southwick has a Community Preservation meeting, and the town of Long Meadow has a Finance Committee meeting, and the Conservation Commission is meeting in Long Meadow this evening. In looking at the calendar, I don't see an issue. November 11th is Veterans Day. I'm pretty sure we probably met on that day before, so
But, yeah, that's a holiday that the town hall will be closed, so I can see not having a meeting on that day,
okay.
because that's a federal holiday.
So,
So what are these dates circled? These are
those are holidays.
holidays?
Yes. So that being said, you know, I'm in favor of staying with the second and fourth Wednesdays, with no meeting scheduled for November 11th. If we need to schedule a separate meeting on either November 4th or the 18th, we will do so at that time.
So I don't get this. This is the schedule for us to fill in?
Essentially, they're just,
This is what it says. It's a
they're asking,
it's a
please
commission
indicate with a
schedule.
pen, marker, pencil, the dates the commission would like to schedule meetings during 2020 and return to the planning department. As far as I'm concerned, it's the second and fourth Wednesdays of every month, with the exception of November 11th.
And the clerk will take on the responsibility of circling the dates and returning this to the planning department.
Well, thank you.
Unbelievable.
Should take me maybe 3 minutes.
Yep.
Feel like you're in fifth
You
grade.
could just put a sentence down. Meetings will be on the second, fourth Wednesday.
And I guess since we're-
every month.
I guess since we're doing pretty good time-wise,
Where's
and
the,
I guess also, and since we're under the policies and procedures, and there is this meeting memo in here, one of the things that frankly is unacceptable to me is the fact that we received no packets whatsoever for this meeting. The only thing I received in an email for this meeting was the agenda, or excuse me, the minutes for September 18th, which got emailed this morning. Typically, we've been emailed packets in the past, at least Thursday or Friday, prior to the Wednesday meeting. But so I guess if we can all take a look at this meeting memo from Director Browders dated October 9th. To assist you in preparing for meetings, planning, and community development, we'll provide the following staff support to the conservation. Review plan packets, case submittals prior to or for completion, send to the town clerk to have them stamped, date stamp them in, cue the applicant to department case track spreadsheet using the assigned Mass DEP file number. The wetlands are, I'm not even sure what that is.
where's that? Where's this form?
The department case track spreadsheet, and maybe that's the one with the open notices of intent, that Excel sheet that we have. Okay, it does say here they're gonna create the legal ad and notice to abutters for a notice of intent, abbreviated notice of intent, or abbreviated notice of resource area delineation. Okay, they're going to submit the notice to add to the newspaper of general circulation. That's definitely a change from what we were informed at our September 18th meeting. Send notice to abutters and parties of interest. Email agenda to the town clerk. Distribute planning board submittals with a copy of planning board meeting agenda to the Conservation Commission for their comments. Okay, likewise distribute Concom submittals with a Concom agenda to the planning board. Send applications and plans for peer review if requested. Assemble packets including comments from review team, planning board, and any response from peer. Email packets Well, this is good. It says email packets to include agenda and draft minutes to commissioners no later than 1 week before meetings. That would be fantastic. That hasn't been happening in the past. Email applicants reminding them of the hearing with a copy of the agenda. Email late review comments received from independent review.
Interdepartmental.
Oh, interdepartmental review, Concom Planning Board, and any response from peer review applicant. Email any review comments received from constituency to applicant and respective commission members. After the meeting, mark the agenda, send to the chair for review, then upload to the website for review. Well, that would be a good thing because that did not happen at the September 18th meeting where it was added to our marked agenda that Robert Sheets resigned, and we definitely did not discuss that at the meeting.
We didn't even know about it.
Yeah. Upload approved minutes to the website. Save a copy of marked agenda and approved minutes in electronic folder. Place hard copy of marked agenda and approved minutes in file folder. Mail certificate of compliance. File completed documents.
Me personally, I still think that their
There's a-
presence should be.
There's a question in, pardon me?
I think that their presence should be required, at least one or both. I mean, I'd be fine with just having Bethany present.
I would too, we
I
just,
don't think that it should be placed on Jeff to
Well,
pick up our packets and to take
Yep.
minutes and to do all stuff that the town is paying them to do. And if they're not gonna do, my motion is to draft a letter to the town council requesting their assistance in providing support for us.
well, I'm going to throw this out. Connie's contract,
and there's a motion on the floor.
oh, sorry.
Is there a second?
Second,
Jeff? Any further discussion?
well, to go along with that motion, basically, Connie's contract states that she will be present at all planning board, conservation, and zoning board meetings. She's contractually obligated to be here as staff support. And she signed the contract and accepted that obligation.
We
So-
could point that out, I'm sure, in the letter,
Mhm.
where we would like to draft it.
Yep.
I can understand if she's trying to stay within her budget constraints as far as Bethany's concerned, but she's a town salaried employee that doesn't get comp time. And she's contractually obligated to be at the meeting.
Yeah, and last I knew, we're all volunteers that are not paid.
And I don't see why I should have to take time out of my day, being non-compensated, to go to the town hall and pick up this briefcase with all these things and bring it to the meeting and set up for the meeting. That's not
Yep.
part of the reason I volunteered for this. If I wanted to be a secretary, I would have applied for an administrative assistant job.
I agree with the motion and what Jeff said. Because yes, I've seen the contract too, and I believe by this limited role of support, I believe the director is in breach of her contract. The only issue that I would, I guess I would take with your motion, Tom, is I believe to follow proper procedure, we need to send it to the town manager and copy the town council. I don't think we can go around the town manager the way the chain of command is set up right now. But I would not have an issue whatsoever in sending it to the town manager
Yeah, I'd be
with
fine.
copying the town
Yeah,
council.
send it to the town manager and CC the council.
And I agree that, and it doesn't say it in here, there's a few other questions, but essentially, the director is done with what's being done, but what's not said in here, and I agree with Jeff, most of us have jobs and we have things going on in our life, and I don't believe it's proper for the support staff not to at least be delivering the meeting materials to the site of our meeting. You know, so now a commissioner has to go there and pick them up the day before, and then they have to go and deliver them again the next day. I'm sorry, yes, we are the uncompensated volunteers. I have no problem. I will draft a letter, send it to commissioners for review. I like the idea that it would be coming out from the commission as a whole. Any further discussion on the motion on the floor?
Do we need to amend the motion that it would go to the town
Correct,
manager?
yes. Yep. I can do that. I'll make a motion to amend the existing motion that it is addressed to the town manager with a copy to the town council.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor on the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
All those in favor on the original motion as amended?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Some of this I don't really know if we even need to get into it. Why they require deliverables 2 weeks in advance. I don't believe we ask this question very often, but, I mean, certain things can be done quicker than that, but I don't believe it is sent to interdepartmental reviews. We've been through all of this. And that's just questioning the amount of copies. When does planning and community development require the commissioners to have the schedule ready for posting on the webpage? Oh, for November 1st. Well, that's not a problem. We're all set. We're finished with that. Site visits, findings. Draft minutes of the meeting will be prepared by your designated commissioner. Jeff and I talked about that. As far as I'm concerned, the minutes that we need to be taking here at the meeting are who made the motion, who seconded it, and what the vote was. Other than that, as far as I'm concerned, the Planning and Community Development Department can watch the meeting on TV and go from there.
Well, I just want to add that it's very difficult being a commissioner, trying to participate and react and review documents and still try to take notes.
I agree with that 100%.
It's distracting.
And right, and so
You can't give your full attention to what you're supposed to be actually acting on.
and obviously this is something that should not be the responsibility of the commission. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the way we're going to do it. We're going to send in who voted on what, because that was an issue that came up in the past when we were trying to do the minutes from a recorded meeting. I mean, obviously it might be able to be picked up now that their meetings are on LCAT, but as far as I'm concerned, we can send them that and we're done with the minutes. They can watch it on TV and compile the minutes from there. Draft minutes must be returned to the planning within 10 days of a meeting. Okay, that's not a problem. Minutes should be approved within 10 days of the meeting.
And
Yet, within 30 days of the meeting, and that is correct. You know, however, we can just take tonight as an example. We're about 22 days or maybe more away from our September 18th meeting, and the minutes were received today.
She posed questions for us.
Yep.
plus the fact is that we have, as far as preparing the minutes, we have 2 staff support people who are paid to do this. Why should I sit at home on my time and write up the draft minutes like I did for the last meeting, and then have to print them out, and then send them to the town planning office, so that all they have to do is just copy it onto the website? You know, it's like, why are we paying a salary and an hourly person to provide staff support for 3 commissions or 3 boards, but then the members have to do their own work? I don't see the justification.
I don't either. And, you know, and yes, if we're deliberating and discussing a filing, it's virtually impossible for you to be taking minutes at the same time.
I couldn't
if you're
even-
paying
I
attention
couldn't
to the
even-
deliberation.
Couldn't even keep up with what was going on tonight, so there you
Right. Since we're talking about minutes and that sort of thing, I sent everybody an email, and this does follow under the policies and procedures, and it is the regulation. I did print 1 copy. I don't know if people want to take the time to read it here, but it's been about 6 months, and what I'm referring to is the minutes of the executive session. And at this point, I don't believe there has been or there is going to be an attempt to resolve the issues of the executive session. So I guess I would like to just move forward and say, okay, we can get those off our list and they can be posted publicly. Like I said, I did send the regulation to everybody, but Tony, if you don't have email, here, you take this copy. And those are the regulations that pertain to releasing executive session minutes. I went through them real quick. We need to err on the side of caution in this matter, but based on my quick review, I don't see any reason why we cannot release those to the public, so we can put that on the agenda for our next meeting.
go. Because as of today, it has been exactly 6 months.
It has been?
Our meeting was April 10th,
First meeting in April, yep, okay.
so as of today, it's exactly 6 months. I even brought a copy of those minutes with me.
And this piece of paper that was included in our packets, is this not the old Conservation Commission deliverable
This is
submittal
the
structure?
original one that we
This has been removed from their website.
voted to replace,
Right.
and I don't understand why this is here. It still shows up on the website on the main page. The first thing you see, if you go to submittals, you have to go over under RDAs and click on that, and then you see the revised one, which I wrote.
Okay. Based on that, we've been over this before on a couple occasions, and I thought we had been through this. So right now, I will entertain a motion for removal of the 4 Conservation Commission deliverables/submittals as was provided in our meeting packets tonight, and just having the copy that was sent by the commission on there. The date on this commission deliverables and submittals is revised February 8th, 2019.
April 8th.
April 8th, 2019. I will entertain a motion to have this removed from the conservation page on the website.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The Conservation Commission, account balances and transactions. I was emailed in early August or late July from the director. I don't have it right here in front of me, but I can pull it up. And in that email, it was stated that we would have these for our August 28th meeting. Having received nothing, and we got stonewalled, and as far as I'm concerned, the same blah, blah, blah from the director at our 9/18 meeting. 2 days ago, I emailed Sarah Menard asking her for those, and I have received no comment as of yet. So I guess at this point, I will just re-email Sarah Menard and copy the town manager on it, and hopefully we'll have something for the next meeting. But that's about the only update we have on that. Other than, I guess, yes, as a reminder, we've been waiting for this for over a year now. And if it goes too much longer, I know as soon as we get into next year, we're going to hear the same thing that we had for the last half of last year, was it's budget season, so it's not going to happen. So that being said, does anybody have anything else they wish to bring up tonight?
One thing I would like to bring up is we have talked about this in the past, and I think this is the appropriate time to do something about it. In regard to our bylaw with the fee schedule. And I don't, off the top of my head, recall if we voted on this or what, but
We did.
we did vote.
For, yeah, chapter 44, section 53, yes.
Then, I would like to state that I would be happy to take the current bylaw, do the necessary revisions to include this Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53G. And then, I don't know if it has to be presented to the town manager to present to the town council, or if the commission can present it to the town council directly,
I believe right now it would go to the bylaw subcommittee.
or the bylaw subcommittee.
I believe so. I mean, we could check into that, but yeah, if I appreciate that. If you want to volunteer and
Because
have
I-
some kind of a draft for our next meeting or the one after that, that'd be great.
Because I'd like to see this get done,
Yep. It's long overdue.
so. And then we can move forward
Mm-hmm.
with our fines and
Yep. And peer reviews.
peer reviews.
Yep. Okay. The only other one I guess that I had that we talked about, and it is getting near time to do it, and I will email Sarah Menard and copy the commission on it. But I guess in just asking what we need to do to have things submitted in the fiscal year, is it 2021 budget? Would be the next one that's coming up?
It'll be the 2021 budget, yes.
Yeah. Getting a part-time agent and perhaps anything else that we want to do, the signs and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we should prepare a list of
Yeah.
things that we want to purchase
Mm-hmm.
for helping us to do our job,
Yeah.
or to, for the conservation lands.
Yeah. And
And just a, I probably have this somewhere in all these papers, but just to give you an update, I received an email from Donna Prather yesterday or the day before, or last week, and basically, the open space plan came back from the state with a list of 13 items they wanted added in there. It's quite extensive,
really,
very extensive. Donna was a little disappointed, to say the least. And a lot of it, there's a couple areas that talk about conservation lands, specifically designating them, where they are, how much, so forth. So I'll probably have more information after our meeting. We're going to meet next Tuesday morning.
you haven't met in a while, correct?
We haven't met since we
Yeah,
submitted.
waiting to hear back from the state.
We're
yeah.
waiting to hear back from the state,
Okay.
who said they wouldn't even be able to look at it probably until October. So apparently, or November, but apparently they looked at it, and they sent it back with this whole list of stuff they wanted added, which was like, wow. So, and there was like a couple of line items, I think specifically dealt with conservation and conservation lands. So,
You need a copy of it?
I thought I brought a copy with me.
I'm pretty sure it's online.
No, the email was sent directly to the.
Oh, but the plan is online, isn't it? Can't you see the plan that went out?
The plan, I think, I don't know if they posted it online, they probably did.
Yeah, I thought they did.
But this is what the state came back with, a list of what had to be corrected or updated or more information they wanted in the open space plan. And there was a few items that had to do with the conservation land, so.
And that plan needed to be done in order to qualify for
grants.
grant money, correct?
Yes, yes. So basically, until that is done and approved by the state, we can't, from what I understand, I don't think we can apply for grants.
Mhm.
No, my apologies, I thought I brought that.
Those are daytime meetings, correct?
Yes, this one I think is 9 to 10 in the morning,
Mhm.
but usually they're all daytime meetings.
Yeah.
You're a representative.
I'm representative from the conservation.
How many members on that? 5?
No, there's about, I want to say close to 10.
Yeah.
Is there
I was
really?
gonna say there were 10, 11 last time I was on it, yeah.
Yeah, you've got school committee, let's see, CPC,
Council on Aging,
Council on Aging,
Planning board.
Director.
Didn't you guys use a template from a,
We used the previous one.
oh, you didn't review like other towns' templates that were
No.
approved, state approved?
Well, basically, this was off the previous open space plan that was done.
It was
Excellent.
antiquated by,
Yeah, but, and it was updated, and it went to somebody for review, who reviewed it, added a whole, went page by page and section by section, and said, well, change this, or you could leave this out, or whatever, or, and that was done. And then we did the final submission, which went up through this person to the state, and then the state came back with this laundry list of.
litany of
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that were,
Yeah, they had 13 items, it was 2 pages of things that they wanted to see in there.
some of it's not really set up to be copying somebody else's. A lot of it is, you're supposed to list every conservation area,
Yes,
what the plans
yes.
are and what's happened, what schools you have, how much property they have. So some of it, there's a general outline to go by, but it is pretty town-specific.
Yeah, it is
13
very,
things? I
it's,
mean,
it's very town-specific.
Yeah.
Don't they have a guideline though?
Yeah,
They probably do, and basically they went by that, and then there's, I forget what this other person is. I don't know if it's Pioneer Valley something, where it gets submitted to that person.
right.
They went through and reviewed it, and then, once they say it's okay, then it's sent to the state, and then the state,
Pioneer Valley Planning Commission?
that's who,
And we paid them for that.
and,
I believe we did, yes.
yes, and then it goes from there, it goes to the state level, and then the state reviews it. Well, we finally, we sent this out, I think it was in July,
Yeah, it was this summer.
and then an email came back and said, I think it was the beginning of September, don't look for the state to review this and get it back to you until at least October or November, because they're so busy. And then last week, it came back, they reviewed it, and they had 2 pages of items that they wanted in there.
And I believe that's one of the primary reasons everything for Heritage Park got pushed back. Community
That's what I'm thinking,
preservation, because
that's gonna push
the
it
grant
back.
money wasn't there.
Right, another 6 months or a year.
Yeah, it's a pretty big document though, right?
Oh, it's huge. Plus, you have to include all these maps and just all kinds of stuff in there. I mean, that document must have been like this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you, I don't know.
I mean,
I'd have to look at the
I
criteria.
forget how many pages just the document was,
Yeah.
but then you have all the addendums that you add to it, in all the maps and in the geographical surveys and stuff. It's huge. I bet it ends up being probably 100 or 150 pages.
I think I worked on on that committee for 6, 8 months maybe, but then we had the change in town government, and Robin McDonald became ill and we had all that, so the committee disbanded for 6 or 7 months. And then it came back on, and that's when Jeff took over after that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure, but it was 15 or 20 years maybe since a revised plan had been done, and it is supposed to be done every 5 years.
Well, 5 or now you can go 7.
Oh, okay, you can?
Yeah, they just changed that, you can go up to 7.
Mhm.
But this hasn't been done in, I guess, quite a long time.
All righty.
Go back to the planning commission and say, how did this happen?
Anybody have anything else for tonight? The only thing did get, there could be one RDA in for our next meeting regarding removal of some invasive species at Brownstone Gardens around the quarry there. Other than that, I am not aware of any new filings that have come in to the commission. That being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.